Picture this. I'm standing in my kitchen, the faint hum of the fridge buzzing in the background, and I'm staring at a chipped mug that's seen better days. It's not just any mug. It's the one Ryan, my husband, insists on using every morning to make my coffee, even though we've got a whole cabinet of nicer ones. That little quirk of his, it's like a quiet promise, a reminder of the life we've built together. My name's Ashley, I'm 27, and I've been married to Ryan for 3 years now. We met back in college, two awkward kids fumbling through a group project, and somehow we just clicked. He's my anchor, kind in a way that feels effortless, dependable when I'm a mess, and loyal to a fault. I can't imagine my world without him. Our life together isn't flashy, but it's ours. On weekends, we'll sprawl out on the couch, binge-watching crime dramas until the early hours, arguing over who the killer is before the big reveal. I always lose, by the way. He's got a knack for spotting the smallest clues. And every morning, without fail, he's up before me, brewing that coffee in his beat-up mug. It's the little things, you know? The way he'll hum under his breath while he's pouring, or how he'll sneak a quick kiss on my forehead before heading out to work. It's a steady kind of love, the kind that makes you feel safe, like nothing could ever shake it. But Ryan isn't the only constant in my life. There's Jake and Michael, his best friends since high school, who've become like brothers to me over the years. Jake's the life of any room he walks into. Loud, brash, with a laugh that could wake the dead. He's always got a story or a joke, even if half the time they're at someone else's expense. He's the guy who'll convince you to do something wild, like the time he dragged us all to a karaoke bar and somehow got me belting out a song I didn't even know the words to. Then there's Michael, the quiet one. He's the opposite of Jake in every way. Thoughtful, reserved, but with a sharp edge to his humor that catches you off guard. You don't notice him at first, but when he speaks, everyone listens. He's got this way of seeing right through you, like he's piecing together a puzzle you didn't even know you were. The four of us, we're a tight-knit crew. We spend a lot of time together, whether it's firing up the grill for a backyard barbecue at our place, or piling into Jake and Michael's apartment for a game night that always ends with someone, usually Jake, flipping the board in frustration. I've always felt at ease with them, like I'm part of something bigger than just me and Ryan. They're the kind of friends who know your quirks, So, here we are, pulling up to Jake and Michael's apartment on a chilly Saturday evening in November, right around 7 p.m. The air bites at my cheeks as Ryan and I step out of the car, our breath fogging up in little clouds under the dim streetlights. I tug my jacket tighter around me, glancing at Ryan as he grabs the six-pack we brought along. He flashes me that easy smile of his, the one that always calms my nerves, and we head up the creaky stairs to their second-floor place. The hallway smells faintly of damp carpet and someone's burnt dinner, but as soon as Jake swings the door open, all of that fades away. Jake's booming voice hits us first, a loud cheer that practically shakes the walls. There they are! Get in here, you two! He slaps Ryan on the back hard enough to make him stumble, then pulls me into a quick, friendly hug, his cologne sharp and a little overpowering. I laugh, stepping back, and catch sight of Michael on the couch, already settled in with a beer in hand. He gives a small wave, his expression unreadable as always, but there's a flicker of something in his eyes I can't quite place. I shake it off and follow Ryan inside. The living room is a chaotic mess, just like I expected. Mismatched furniture is crammed into every corner. A sagging plaid couch, a recliner with a torn armrest, and a coffee table littered with empty pizza boxes and crumpled napkins. The faint smell of pepperoni and beer hangs in the air, mixing with the musty scent of old fabric. Their ancient TV is blaring pre-game commentary, the commentators' voices cutting through the room like a buzzsaw. A tangle of game console cords snakes across the floor, and I nearly trip over one as I make my way to the fridge. Jake's already back to arguing with Ryan about which team's gonna dominate tonight, their voices rising over each other while Michael just rolls his eyes from his spot on the couch, clearly used to this routine. I grab a soda, popping the tab with a satisfying hiss, and decide to stick to non-alcoholic drinks since I'm the designated driver. Leaning against the counter, I watch the scene unfold with a smile. Ryan's gesturing wildly, trying to make his point about some quarterback's stats, while Jake laughs so hard he nearly chokes on his own words. "You're full of it, man," Jake roars, pointing a finger at Ryan. I can't help but chuckle, sipping my soda as the familiar warmth of their camaraderie wraps around me like a blanket. This is us. Loud, messy, but family in all the ways that matter. The game kicks off and the energy in the room skyrockets. Every play is met with either a shout of triumph or a groan of despair, depending on who's winning. Jake's the loudest, of course, leaping up from the couch at every touchdown, his beer sloshing dangerously in his hand. It's well past midnight now, and the apartment feels different, like the air itself has thickened with something unspoken. The game ended hours ago, the TV now just a static hum in the background, casting flickering shadows across the cluttered living room. I'm sitting at the kitchen table with Jake and Michael, surrounded by a graveyard of empty beer cans and greasy pizza boxes. The faint smell of stale crusts lingering. Ryan, though, he's out cold. He'd been knocking back beers all night, his words slurring more with each one, until he finally mumbled something about needing a quick nap. I watched him stumble over to the sagging plaid couch, his heavy frame collapsing onto it with a groan of springs. Within seconds, his snores started, deep and rhythmic, filling the room like a low rumble. I remember thinking how peaceful he looked, completely unaware of the world around him, his chest rising and falling under the dim glow of a nearby lamp. The three of us, Jake, Michael, and me, we're still up, our voices quieter now, almost hushed, as if we're afraid to disturb the fragile stillness. At first, it's just casual talk. Jake's leaning back in his chair, one hand wrapped around a half-empty can, telling some story from their high school days. It's a funny one, something about a prank they pulled on a teacher, and I'm smiling despite myself, caught up in the nostalgia of it. But as he talks, I start to notice a shift, a heaviness settling over us that I can't quite pin down. It's in the way the silence stretches a little too long between sentences, in the way the dim kitchen light seems to sharpen the edges of their faces. My fingers tighten around the edge of the table, a nervous habit, as I try to shake off the feeling. Then Jake's tone changes. He's looking right at me, his eyes intense, almost searching, as he leans forward slightly. "Ryan's a lucky guy, you know that, Ash?" he says, his voice lower now, smoother, like he's letting me in on a secret. My stomach twists at the way he says it, at the weight behind his words. I force a small laugh, trying to brush it off, but my throat feels tight, and I can't meet his gaze for long. I mumble something vague, hoping to steer the conversation elsewhere, but I'm frozen in my seat, my mind racing with a mix of confusion and unease. I can feel Michael watching too, his quiet presence suddenly more noticeable, like a shadow creeping closer. Before I can process what's happening, Jake stands up, the scrape of his chair against the floor startling me. He moves with a kind of deliberate slowness, crossing the small space between us until he's right behind me. My breath catches as I feel his hands slide around my waist, warm and firm, pulling me back against him. Then, without warning, his lips brush against the side of my neck, a soft, lingering touch that sends a jolt through my entire body. My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure they can hear it, and I stammer, "Jake, what are you doing?" My voice is shaky, barely above a whisper, but he just chuckles, low and intimate, his breath hot against my skin. I'm paralyzed, my mind screaming at me to push him away, to stand up, to do something, but my body won't move. And then Michael's there too, closer than I realized, his tall frame looming as he steps toward us. His voice is quiet, almost a murmur, but it carries a weight that makes my chest tighten. "We've always noticed you, Ashley. Don't pretend you haven't felt it." His words hang in the air, heavy with implication, and I feel like I'm drowning in them. My thoughts are a chaotic mess, panic clawing at me, confusion clouding everything, and beneath it all, a shameful flicker of curiosity I don't want to acknowledge. I should stop this. I know I should. Ryan's right there, just feet away, lost in his dreams while I'm caught in this moment I never saw coming. But as they close in, their presence overwhelming. It's around 2 a.m. now, and the apartment is cloaked in an unsettling stillness, broken only by the steady grating sound of Ryan snoring from the couch. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, my hands trembling so badly that the glass of water I'm clutching threatens to slip from my grip. The cold liquid sloshes slightly, mirroring the chaos churning inside me. My stomach twists with a nauseating ache, a sickening reminder of the line I've crossed. I can't shake the memory of what just happened, those stolen, forbidden moments with Jake and Michael that I never should have allowed. It's like a weight pressing down on my chest, suffocating me with every breath. Meanwhile, Jake and Michael are acting as if the world hasn't just tilted on its axis. They're casually grabbing more beers from the fridge, their voices low but infuriatingly light as they chat about nothing important, some old game, a random memory. Their laughter cuts through the air, sharp and careless, grating on my nerves like nails on a chalkboard. How can they be so unaffected when I'm sitting here, unraveling? I want to scream, to shatter this suffocating silence and let everything spill out. I want to march over to Ryan, shake him awake, and confess every wretched detail, to beg for forgiveness before this guilt consumes me whole. But fear roots me to the spot. What if he looks at me with disgust? What if he walks away and never comes back? The thought alone makes my throat tighten, my vision blur with unshed tears. I can't lose him. He's my everything, my safe harbor, my home. But I've betrayed that, haven't I? My mind is a battlefield, torn between self-loathing and desperate excuses. Maybe it was the charged atmosphere, the way the night seemed to blur at the edges with every passing hour. Maybe I was just lonely, craving something I didn't even understand. But deep down, I know the truth. I made a choice. I let myself fall into that moment, and no amount of rationalizing can erase the stain it's left on me. I glance down at my hands again, watching them shake as if they belonged to someone else. The glass feels like it's burning my skin, and I set it down with a clink that sounds too loud in the quiet. Jake notices, his eyes flicking over to me with a hint of concern. He steps closer, his presence still carrying that dangerous edge from earlier, and places a hand on my shoulder. "Hey, Ash, you okay?" he asks, his tone softer now, almost genuine. But I flinch away, my body recoiling from his touch as if it's fire. "I'm fine," I mutter, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. I need some air." I push myself up from the chair, my legs unsteady beneath me, and stumble toward the tiny balcony off their living room. I don't wait for a response, don't look back at their faces. I can't bear to see whatever might be there. Pity, amusement, or something worse. The cold November wind hits me like a slap as I step outside, the chill biting into my skin through my thin sweater. I wrap my arms around myself, shivering, and lean against the rusted railing, staring out at the scattered city lights twinkling in the distance. They look so far away, like little pinpricks of hope I can't reach. Tears stream down my cheeks, hot against the icy air, and I don't bother wiping them away. My chest heaves with silent sobs, each one a release of the shame and regret I've been holding in. How did I let this happen? How did I betray the one person who's always been there for me? Ryan's face flashes in my mind. His easy smile, the warmth in his eyes when he looks at me, the way he makes me feel like I'm enough. And now I've shattered that trust in a way I can't take back. But standing here, with the wind whipping through my hair and the city sprawling out below me, a moment of clarity cuts through the fog of my despair. I can't undo what I'm standing in the dim light of our living room, the air thick with the weight of everything I've been hiding. My heart's pounding so hard, it's like a drum in my skull, each thump a reminder of the mess I've made. I've been dreading this moment for days, maybe weeks, but there's no running from it now. The truth has been clawing at me, tearing through every excuse, every lie, until it's raw and bleeding and ready to spill out. I glance over at Rosemary, still half asleep under the blanket on the couch, his face peaceful in a way that a knife in my RO. How can I destroy that peace with what I'm about to say? How can I shatter the life we've built with a single confession? But I know I have to. There's no more hiding, no more pretending. This is it. The moment everything unravels. Babe, we need to talk, I say, my voice trembling so badly it's almost a whimper. I'm shaking as I sit on the edge of the couch, my hands clenched into fists in my hoodie sleeves. Rosemary groans, rubbing his eyes with the heels of his hands. Still grow? And disoriented from being dragged out of sleep. He blinks up at me, his brow creasing as he senses the shift in the air, the way my face must look under the dim lamplight. What's up, Ashley? He mumbles, his voice thick but wary, like he's already bracing for something bad. He sits up a little, the blanket slipping down to his waist, and I can see the concern starting to creep into his eyes. My mouth is dry, my tongue's feeling like lead, but I force myself to keep going. There's no backing out now. I take a deep, shuddering breath, my hands trembling as they grip the edge of the couch cushion. The words are lodged in my throats, heavy and jagged, like they're made of glass. I'm not sure how to get them out, but they're there, pressing against my ribs, demanding to be freed. I did something. I start, my voice cracking on the last word, so small it's almost swallowed by the faint hum of the heater in the corner. He tilts his head, his expression still soft but starting to sharpen, like he's waking up to the seriousness of this. What do you mean? He presses, his own voice dropping, a thread of unease running through it now. I can feel the weight of his stare, even if I'm not looking right at him. My eyes are on the chipped wooden floor, on the scuff mark by the leg of the couch, on anything but his face. I can't look at him yet. Not until it's out. I did something wrong with Jake and Michael. Out. The words tasting bitter and raw as they leave my mouth. They're clumsy, jagged, like they're slicing through me on their way out. There's a long, agonizing pause, a moment of stillness where the world seems to stop. I can feel the shift in the air, the way the room itself seems to tighten around me, like it's holding its breath too. Then, as if in slow motion, I force myself to glance at him. His face. It's like a punch to the guts. His eyes, usually so warm and full of light, are wide now, wide and uncomprehension, like he's seeing a stranger. His jaw is tight, a muscle ticking in his cheek, and for a moment, he's completely still, just staring at me with this hollow, uncomple look. It's like the ground has fallen out from under me, and I'm dangling there, waiting for the rest of the world to catch up. What the heck, Ashley? He finally explodes, his voice raw and jagged, cracking with VR. He's on his feet now, the blanket shoved off in a heap, his hands running through his hair as he starts to paces. My best friends? Are you serious? His words are like knives, each one slicing through the fragile wall of excuses I'd built up in my head. It's been a week since that night, and I'm still standing in the rubble of the life I knew, trying to make sense of the pieces. I'm alone in our small house, the air heavy with a stillness that presses down on me, making every breath feel like a chore. The faint hum of the fridge is the only sound, a constant white noise that fills the empty space where laughter and warmth used to be. I'm Ashley, and if you've been with me through this story, you know the weight of the mess I've made. I'm in a painful limbo now, a place where every day stretches out like an endless road with no sign of redemption. My husband, Rosemary, hasn't come home since our confrontation. He's staying with his brother across town, and our only communication has been through a handful of short, clipped messages where he says he needs space to process everything. I can hear the coldness in those words, even without seeing his face, each one a reminder of the distance between us that might never be bridged again. I've tried to reach out. Believe me, I have. Every day I've left voicemails on his phone, my voice trembling as I stumble through apologies that feel inadequate, even as I say them. Please, I'm so sorry. I'll do anything to make this right. I plead into the empty line, my words swallowed by the beep before they're even fully out. I wait for hours after, staring at my phone on the counter, the screen dark and unresponsive, like a lifeline that's been severed. I've sent messages too, Long, rambling messages pouring out my regret, but they sit unanswered. A digital graveyard of my desperation. The house doesn't help. It's a museum of our life together, every corner holding a memory that stabs at me now. His favorite mug, chipped at the edge, sits on the counter where he last touched it, waiting for his hand to claim it again with a morning brew. Our photo, a crooked snapshot from a happier day, hangs on the wall, his smile wide and genuine, while mine looks haunted now, shadowed by what I've done. Every day is a battle with guilt, a war waged in my own mind, where there's no winner, only the constant ache of loss. The couch where we used to curl up together for late-night shows is just a piece of furniture now, a cold reminder of the warmth that's gone. The blanket he'd drape over us is folded at the end, untouched, like it's waiting for him too. I walk through our home, my footsteps echoing on the hardwood, and it's like I'm a stranger in my own story. The little things hit the hardest. His jacket still on the back of the door, the faint scent of his cologne clinging to it like a memory refusing to fade. I run my hand over the fabric sometimes, feeling the worn leather, and for a moment, I can almost convince myself he's just in the next room, about to call out with that easy laugh of his. But then reality crashes back, a wave of cold truth that leaves me gasping. I've tried to keep myself together, to act like the world hasn't tilted off its axis, but it's a performance with no applause. The dishes pile up in the sink, a testament to my distraction, and the laundry sits unfolded, a mess of tangled sleeves and regrets. I've even stopped looking at the door when the mail comes, half expecting a letter or note from him that never arrives. It's a lonely, aching existence, one where the ticking of the wallop is louder than my own thoughts sometimes, counting down the seconds to a resolution that might never come. I've had time to think about what happened, to replay that night and the events that led to this fracture. I've learned a hard, brutal truth. One moment of bad judgment, one lapse where you let yourself stray, can shatter years of trust into fragments that cut you with every step you take after. I logger the strength of the bond we had, thinking it could weather any, but I was wrong. So wrong. I crossed a line, a betrayal that's left a chasm between us, and now I'm standing on the edge, staring. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.